Is it Mr. Wilkerson, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that one showing the screen? Is that showing a Zoom meeting?
This shows me there's a Zoom meeting.
Okay, I wonder what name that is, because I don't see you. Carol Fernandez. Juanita, do you know what screen that would be under?
Did you already let everybody else in?
No, I haven't let anybody. There,
You
there. Now I see it. I see it now. Okay,
It'll probably be,
it's Maria. I found it. She just
okay.
they had to press a button. Okay, so now he's on. Now, okay. Okay, I'm just waiting for the attorney, I believe, unless Mr. Morga. Let's see, Mr. Morga may be representing. Aha. Hi, Mr. Dale.
Hello.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. We got the wrong name.
Yeah, no, I was looking for that. I was waiting for you, but then I saw Emmanuel Morga. I thought maybe somebody else might be substituting for you. That's fine. No problem. Oh, you can check that fast. Wow, cool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before we begin, Mr. Wilkerson showed up at the office here, so we've set him up here in the courtroom. He's on our staff screen of Maria Silvas. That's Mr. Wilkerson, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna, Ms. Fernandez here with the Point Apartments.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Wilkerson and Ms. Fernandez, I'm sorry, if you could each raise your right hand. You swear the testimony I'm about to give shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Mundell, you want to go ahead?
Sure, Judge. This is a eviction proceeding. Well, first of all, Cal Mandel for the Point Apartments. We got an eviction and non-payment of rent. The current rate of rent is $660. On this day, Judge, Mr. Wilkerson owes a balance of $10,899.47. The last payment, according to our ledger, was made in the amount of $200 on July 6, 2020. Other than that, no payments have been made. We understand that he is still occupying the unit.
Okay. The $10,899 does not, it's rent only. There is no late fees there included, or?
If I may answer, there are late fees as well as water, sewer, and trash utilities.
Okay, so the late fees have to be taken out, number one. If in your lease, utilities are identified as rent, you can recover them. If they are not identified as rent, you can't recover them.
Okay, and they are not.
Okay, so all that you can recover is rent.
Okay.
So if you want to revise your, how many months is it? Maybe we can just months.
Do you have that, Cal, in front of you?
Yeah, the last payment was, it was only in the amount of $200 on July 6, 2020. So we're going on about 11 months, Judge.
Let's see what's in the petition. Let's see. Oh, we got some. Okay, so on the petition, it has no, that's from 2021. That should be 2020, correct?
June
As far-
2020, that's correct, Judge.
So if we go is it the full month from February? Is that what it is?
Our ledgers continue month to month. So the last time there was a payment, there was probably a balance when he made that 200, and it's continued every month since July. So it was August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So it's 11 months of non-payment of rent.
Okay.
That hasn't happened.
11 times 660,
Right.
correct? And that ends on May 31st, or does that include June?
This ledger continues till June 2nd, Judge.
Okay, but Ms. Fernandez, when you said 11 months, were you including June?
I thought I did. Yes.
Okay, so it'd be 10 full months then.
Yes.
Okay, so that'd be $6,600 plus whatever is found for June, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Wilkerson, anything you'd like to state?
I disagree with Plaintiff Apartments.
Can you hear him?
No, Judge.
Not very well.
Is the audio speaking into it? You need to put I don't think your audio's on. You need to unmute it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now, okay. Go now. Start from the beginning. What you were saying? I don't know what you were saying.
Well, yes, Your Honor. I like to disagree with Point Apartments' claim against me because I submitted.
We're having some feedback. I don't know how we're going to handle this. Let's see.
Can you
Judge,
Yes.
I'm sorry, the volume on the TV, if you can just mute it,
Okay.
it will probably be better.
Okay, speak, Mr. Wilkinson, see if that took care of it.
It's good.
No. Okay, so how are we're going to put, let's put Mr. Wilkinson in the jury room. Far away.
Bring your documents.
I believe he's too close, and so we're going to put him in another room and see if that solves it.
Sounds good, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. Are you just waiting for me? Sorry.
You're my best friend. I'm gonna set it up. You're gonna give somebody to just make sure it's through. Yeah, I'm not gonna do this one. Let's show it up to yourself, so.
Okay, Mr. Wilkinson, can you speak? Let's see if we have any feedback.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I think we're good. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me, but I can't see you.
You can't see me?
No, sir. They're fixing it now. There you go. Okay, there we go. All right.
Okay.
Can we shut the door here?
No, we can leave the door open.
Okay. Let me get my paperwork organized here. Okay, Your Honor, as I was saying earlier, I disagree with Point Apartments on the amount of the rent owed. The basis of my claim is there is no lease in place between me and Point Apartments. There's no documentation of a lease between us. And then two, there's a breach of a agreement between me and Mr. Troy. One second here. the Point Apartments. Let's see, Troy. I just had his name.
Ms. Fernandez, is there a written lease?
The last lease that we had with Mr. Wilkerson was from August 1st, 19 to July 31st, 20. It was never renewed after July.
Okay, but it continues on a month-to-month basis?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, Your Honor, the lease was never continued because a agreement was made between the Point Apartments. One second here, I have his name.
I can
Okay,
help you.
his name is Troy B. Arnold, the Regional Vice President of Point Apartments. And the agreement that we had is legally binding. It's legally binding because it meets the requirements of contract law, which include, there are 7 elements of contract law.
Mr. Wilkerson, why don't you just state what the agreement was first, and then we can get into the legality.
The agreement was that I would pay no rent until I resolve my case between President Trump and have a case with the U.S. District Court between myself, President Trump, Secretary of Defense William Esper, and U.S. Attorney General William Barr. As it is right now, I am a member of the United States military. I am in the U.S. Air Force assigned to the Defense Intelligence Agency, Defense Clandestine Service. And I told Mr. Arnold, you know, my situation, that I have this lawsuit pending. And once it's resolved, I would pay all the rent as agreed. So based on there's no agreement, there's a breach of agreement. I also have a right to enforce the agreement under federal law, 42 U.S. Code 1981, equal rights under the law. I can enforce the agreement. And then also Point Apartments and their attorney, they made a false declaration before a court, and that is a criminal violation under 18 U.S. Code 1623.
Okay, let's stick with the oral agreement. What, other than your statement, you had one, what evidence do you have of it?
Well, there's no evidence of an oral agreement. I submitted the evidence here in court with my sworn statement, and I also have criminal complaints against the law firm, Mr. Mundell, and all the attorneys of the law firm for 90 counts of international financial terrorism, domestic financial terrorism.
How is that relevant to your claim that you have an oral agreement?
How is it relevant? Well, it's relevant because the agreement was that I would pay all the rent when I got my case resolved.
Okay, so again, how is that relevant to any, you're saying you have some kind of complaint against the law firm?
Well, it's all relevant because for one, the law firm, they're engaging in international financial terrorism. They're being investigated.
Okay,
And then I also have, not only do I have a criminal complaint, I have an arrest warrant and I have a seizure warrant that's been filed with the United States District Court against this law firm.
okay. Mr. Mundell, have you received anything from Mr. Wilkerson? He sent some stuff on email. Did you receive a copy of it?
Judge, I haven't received anything. I wasn't aware that he answered this lawsuit, and I haven't been put on
Okay.
notice of the other complaint.
This is the email that was sent, I guess, looks like yesterday.
Yes, Your Honor, the document has 40 pages. The
Okay.
complaint is.
Mr. Wilkerson, you didn't send a copy of this to Mr. Mundell?
No, sir. I sent it to the email that was on the claim. The front office told me to send it to that email, and then they would distribute it to everyone else.
Mr. Mundell, what is your email? Mr. Mundell, what is your email?
It's Mundell Judge, MUNDELL at mgmsg.com.
At MSG. Is it just Mundell, MUNDELL at MSG.com?
MGMSG.
MGM.
Judge,
MGM.
I'll go ahead and forward it to him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Wilkerson, I've looked through what you sent in. I'll just address them as I look through them. Counterclaim, there's no counterclaims permitted in an FED. So that's not going to be considered. You have a style on a United States District Court, but there's no file stamp of anything in the court.
Yes, sir. I went down to the court the other day and they wanted several copies. So I was unable to get the stamp, but I'm going to get it this week.
So nothing's been filed.
No, it's all
Okay.
pending.
Okay, so
It's
nothing's
all
been
pending.
filed. Okay. So there is no warrant or any filed complaints.
They're not filed, but
Okay,
they are here. They are in process.
okay, and it looks to me like the warrant that you signed the warrant.
Yes, I signed the warrant because I am a special U.S. Marshal.
Okay, and have any evidence of that?
I sent you a copy of the certified. There's it is the last. There's a attestation of a certification of a special warrant. Special U.S. Marshal, which I was appointed under the court case. That was included in the email.
Okay, and that's something you filed too. You signed.
Yeah.
Okay, so you signed appointing yourself.
Yes, I signed the warrants. I signed the warrants, the arrest warrants, the seizure warrants, and the complaint because I'm authorized to do so under federal law.
And that your certification was in fact signed by yourself. You appointed yourself.
No, I won this. I won the appointment through suing the U.S. Attorney General because the case is complicated, Your Honor.
Well, I'm not going to get into the case. You don't have anything signed by any judge, correct?
No judge.
Okay. Okay. Everything is just signed. Everything's just signed by yourself.
Right. I can get you all that information if you need it.
Well, it would be, but that would be today. That would be now. But
Well, as it stands now, Point Apartments and we have no lease.
okay.
We
Well,
have no lease, so they can't enforce a contract against me because per contract law, a verbal agreement takes precedence over a written agreement if there's no written agreement.
okay. And then Mr. Mandel, have Ms. Fernandez just run through the whatever lease is on file.
I have a copy of the lease right in front of me right now. Apartment lease contract dated July 19th, 2019. In paragraph 3, it reads as follows. The initial term of this lease begins on the first day of August 2019 and ends at 11:59 on the 31st day of July 2020. After that, this lease will automatically renew month to month unless either party gives at least 60 days written notice of termination or intent to move out as required by paragraph 36. We are not in receipt of any notice terminating the lease, therefore it went month to month.
Okay. Mr. Wilkerson, any response?
Again, there is no renewed lease, and there was no notice from Point Apartments after the agreement was made. They did not send any 30-day notice or any move out or any demands after the agreement was made.
That's why it went month to month. The notice required would be to terminate, not to
Right.
effect.
Well, again, they're responsible for sending a notice to terminate also.
They didn't terminate it.
And I didn't either.
So it went month to month.
I made an agreement. We made a good faith agreement that I will pay them once my case was settled.
Okay. Do you have whoever you made, Mr. Arnold, you have him?
I can subpoena him to court to get him to testify, which I intend to do, because not only am I suing Point Apartments, I'm suing the law firm also.
Okay. Well, today is the hearing, and if you haven't subpoenaed him as of yet, he's obviously not going to appear.
Well,
We don't.
you
have
can't
him
subpoena
before
him
us.
to this hearing. I don't even know your processes. I mean, can I request an extension or a stay, and we can come back and I can get all this together? If you give me a week or two, I can get
No.
everything we need in
No,
order for me to make a decision.
FEDs are purposely on a tight schedule.
A
because-
continuance.
No, I'm not going to grant a continuance at this point,
Well, can I make a motion for continuance?
and it's denied.
A motion for continuance?
I'm denying the motion for continuance. I'm going to grant the eviction. I'm sorry. Okay. So we have, as I understand, 10 months of not, do you dispute the rent hasn't been paid for 10 months, Mr. Wilkerson?
No, I don't dispute that at all. But like I said, we have an agreement. It's just in here. I have an agreement to pay them the full amount.
Okay.
I don't dispute owing them the money. And I even put it in writing here in the emails that I sent you, that I agree to pay all the rent that is owed upon the settlement of the case. So I don't dispute any money that's owed.
Okay, I don't find that that's control.
My issue here is that we had an agreement that I will get this resolved, then pay them. Because the case is still in federal court,
I thought you
and
just
they're gonna get their money.
anything in federal court.
That's not an issue. Whether they evict me or not, they're still gonna get their money, because I agreed to pay them.
Okay. I'm going to calculate the rent. I have 10 months at $660. And then for June, the possession is June 10th. I'm going to calculate the 9 days for June.
Now, I didn't file a criminal complaint against Point Apartments because of the agreement. But if they don't keep their agreement, then I'm going to file criminal complaints against them also. I just took filed criminal complaints against the law firm because of all these false documents. Everything is false here. They submitted a false declaration saying that I'm not a veteran. I am a veteran. You know, I'm in the Air Force. They submitted a false statement on the CARES Act saying that it wasn't a single family dwelling, which it is. So all this documentation that they submitted is all fraudulent. And that makes you liable, Your Honor. That makes the court liable because you're making a decision on fraudulent information, which I intend to prove in district court. And like I said, I submitted copies of the criminal complaint, the petition, the arrest warrants, the search and seizure warrants, and all the evidence. So regardless of what happened, if I get evicted, they're still going to jail because I have the evidence and I have the proof. And like I said, I had not filed a criminal complaint against Point Apartments, but if I get evicted, a criminal complaint is going to be included because they submitted false information, fraudulent information. So it's in their best interest to stick to the deal. Let me do my part and I will get their no money. They will get their money.
I do need to read
They will get paid.
a warning. And so I'm going to, I should have read this at the beginning. Before we begin, I want to make sure that you're aware that there's a federal eviction moratorium issued by the CDC, currently scheduled to expire on June 30th, 2021. This moratorium creates civil and criminal liability for landlords and evict tenants who are protected by the order. The moratorium does not prevent this court from moving forward the eviction cases if the landlord is to do so. And if this court is not able to provide guidance as to whether or not an eviction case is covered by the moratorium. Mr. Mundell and, or Ms. Fernandez, you all wish to proceed with eviction?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
Okay,
Your Honor,
Okay.
I signed an eviction memorial. I signed one. That Point Apartments, they have two. I signed one in October, and then I signed another one just last month. So they can't evict me because they can't evict me until June 30th per the moratorium.
okay,
So that's it. We can come back after June 31st because that's when the CDC order says that they can evict me. But if you evict me, Your Honor, then you are liable for violating federal law. I'm just telling it how it is.
okay. I'm going to grant the
I'm just telling them how it is. And I already know what the outcome is going to be.
I'm going to grant the eviction and they're finding out.
It's in everybody's.
$6,795.29. The monthly, Mr.
I
Wilkerson.
don't dispute that. I don't dispute the amount that's owed.
If you please not interrupt me.
But the fact is that we had an agreement, and then also the CDC
Mr. Wilkerson?
moratorium is still in place. And they submitted all this false information to a judge that is covered under federal law. They
Okay.
can't submit fraudulent information to you, Your Honor. If they submit fraudulent information to you, then criminal charges can be filed against them in federal court. And I can enforce it under my crime victims' rights. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm enforcing the law.
Okay, Mr. Wilkerson, I've heard all the evidence. I'm going to make a pronouncement of my judgment. I appreciate if you would not interrupt me, otherwise I'm going to mute you. Okay, I'm going to grant the eviction.
Okay.
The amount awarded as outstanding rent or delinquent rent is $6,795.29. The monthly rent is $660. The court cost of $146. Mr. Mundell, do you have any attorney's fees?
Yes, Judge, we would request $500 in attorney's fees.
Okay, Mr. Wilkerson, do you have any questions for Mr. Mundell relative to the attorney's fees?
No, I don't. I'm just going to proceed with the case. And when do I need to move out? Do I get a grace period, like a 2-week move out period or something, or what?
The writ of possession date is June 10th. You need to vacate on or before June 9th.
Okay.
Okay, if Mr. Mundell will email you a copy, Mr. Wilkerson, since you're here in the office, we will make a copy of it and give you a copy of it at this time, okay?
So could you state that one more time, Your Honor? So June 9th.
Said I will email a
date
copy to
of
Mr.
the- What is it again?
Writ of possession date is June 10th.
So they need to file another document in order for them to evict me. So there has to be another procedure.
If you're still on the premises after June 9th, they can obtain a writ of possession on June 10th.
Okay. And how much time does that give us?
I'm sorry?
So they file, so if I don't vacate on June the 9th, they file their writ of possession on June 10th.
They come and request a writ of
And what
possession
is
on
the
June
next
10th.
step?
And the constable would
Right.
post on your door. You want me to finish or do you?
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
The constable post on your door to voluntarily vacate within 24 hours. If you shouldn't do so, they could physically remove you from the premises.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have to, so they filed the notice on June 11th, and then the constable serves the notice, and then I have 24 hours to move out.
The first date that a writ of possession is available is June 10th.
All right, so how long does it take for the constable to serve the notice?
You'd have to get with a constable to find that out. I can't predict something that I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing further from plaintiff, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna end the hearing and Ms. Wilkerson, I'll hand you a copy of the order.
Thank you,
Okay.
Judge.
Judge.
Just leave it go into the evening.
Oh,
Your Honor? Your Honor?
I'm not going to speak to him when I don't have the other side of it.
okay.